Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome here to the Launchpad and our live coverage of the RS-25 hot fire test at the NASA Stennis Test Center. We are counting down about 6 minutes, 30 seconds and counting until the RS-25 engine is hot fire test. If it's your first time here, though, welcome here at the Launchpad. It's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow because we believe that space is better together, and we're glad to have you joining us here today. If you haven't yet, take a moment, engage that like button, and share out the live stream to let people know that we are getting ready for this hot fire test. And make sure you take a moment and subscribe to our the Launchpad News channel. That's where we're bringing you space news updates and exclusive one-on-one interviews. So make sure you subscribe there so you don't miss any space news from the Launchpad team as we continue to bring more of that content out. As always, take a moment, let us know in the chat where you're watching from. We'll give some shout outs here as we continue through the count towards today's hot fire test. We do have the live audio from the Stennis Space Center for today's test, and you can hear there as they are preparing the RS-25 for the test. Looks like they've updated their countdown, so we're going to resync our clock there. We are now 13 minutes, 30 seconds, and counting from today's test at the NASA Stennis Space Center. As always, if you guys have questions, you can send those in the chat by tagging us at the Launchpad, and we'll work on answering those live throughout today's live stream. Just make sure you're tagging us at the Launchpad so we see those questions coming in so we can answer those there. But if you're just joining us, welcome. You're looking at a live view of the test stand at the Stennis Space Center, where the teams are counting down towards a hot fire test here today. We're just working on syncing our clock there. 13 minutes, 50 seconds, and counting until the hot fire test. The RS-25 engine we saw come to life under Artemis 1, flying 4 previously flown RS-25s from the Space Shuttle system. The test that they're conducting today is on a next generation of RS-25 engines, the RS-25E. See lots of people just coming into the chat. Great to see you all here today. We got Mars in Virginia, Alphas in Scotland. We got Twint in Holland, Daniels in Pennsylvania, Phillips in Huntsville, Alabama. We got Unsinkable in Minnesota. Steven is in Washington. Great to have you all here today. Take a moment, share out the stream, and make sure you engage that like button as well. And if you're just joining us, welcome here to the launch pad. You're looking at a live view of the Stennis Space Center, where NASA is preparing to conduct a hot fire test of an RS-25E engine. We saw one of these tests just a couple of weeks ago, and NASA preparing to conduct another test of this upcoming RS-25E engine that will be used for Artemis 4 and beyond. Today's test is going to be a little bit different than the last test, where they are going to be firing the engine for about 10 minutes or 600 seconds. This is longer than the engines will actually need to fire for a Space Launch System SLS launch, but is critical to ensuring that the engines are able to run at max capacity for long durations of time. We are now 8 minutes, 25 seconds and counting from expected ignition of the single RS-25E engine. See some questions coming in the chat. Mars, is this the same engine as they used last time? We haven't had confirmation of that, but we do believe it is, just based on how quickly this next test has occurred. Joe asking about the duration there. We just answered that one. Fairmaid is asking, what is the next rocket launch to happen? If you head on over to tlpnetwork.com/launches, you can see our upcoming global launch calendar. We have the launch of the Rescue Soyuz tomorrow up to the International Space Station, and then Crew 6 coming early next week. So lots of launches coming up to the ISS here in the near future. We're keeping a close eye on the launch stand as we continue. The time can be adjusted as they conduct this test. The test originally was scheduled to occur about 25 minutes ago or so ago. The new estimated test time is 2:38 p.m. local time, 3:38 p.m. Eastern, or 7 minutes, 23 seconds from now. If you have questions, you can keep sending those in the chat by tagging us at the launch pad, and we'll work on answering those live throughout today's test stream. But don't forget, take a moment, engage that like button, share out the stream. It really does help us out. And take a moment to subscribe to our new The Launchpad News channel. That's where you can catch all of our TLP news updates and exclusive interviews. Jay is asking, could a longer duration test be for event of a loss of engine on SLS for the core stage to require a longer burn duration on the remaining RS-25s? That is a really great question. There are key points in the countdown where they do have callouts that if they were to lose an engine, the mission would still be a success. So that is technically possible. RS-25 engines do have to run at more than 100% efficiency for SLS to work. I believe it's 108% or 111. I'd have to double check that. But that is definitely, 104. There we go. Yeah, that's definitely a possibility on why they could test these running for a longer duration time. Now coming down to T-minus 6 minutes until the RS-25 hot fire test at the NASA Stennis Space Center. Zeno, I hope I'm saying that right. Thank you so much for that super chat. Keep it up. Really appreciate your support. Helps us do what we do here by trying to bring you guys best possible coverage of everything space. And oh my, there is so much happening. If you are interested in possibly becoming part of the TLP crew, head on over to our website, tlpnetwork.com. Click on the About. Scroll to the bottom. That's where we've got our applications open. We are looking at adding some more journalists to our TLP news crew. And of course, we're always looking for rocket chasers to help us bring coverage at rocket centers and spaceports around the world. So take a moment, check that out. There's the link in the chat as well. And we appreciate your guys' support, and hopefully we'll invite some of you onto the TLP crew here as we continue towards Artemis 2. We've got the first test flight of Vulcan just months away. We've got the second last Delta IV Heavy. We might see New Glenn this year. There is so much happening, and of course, can't forget it, there's Starship coming up as well. And there we go. Max is 111. That's where I got that number from, was the max output there. They run them at 104, though, for SLS. If you're just joining us, though, welcome. You're looking at a live view of the NASA Stennis Space Center with the test stand, where NASA is preparing to conduct a long-duration, 600-second hot fire test of an RS-25 engine, 4 minutes, 20 seconds from now. Jody, thank you so much for that super chat. Appreciate it. Big thumbs up. Appreciate you guys so much. Because due to the weather right now, and it's overcast, it is a little bit of a hazier image. So that'll clear up once once we see that engine ignite. Pedments, I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Thank you so much for that super chat. I believe the RS-25 ran at 104% at the rate of performance for shuttle and 109 for SLS. Always love the testing of the RS-25's engine. Such a great engine. Absolutely great comment there and some great statistics for it. I'll double check those numbers, but I believe it swapped the other way. But it's amazing. Why are we running an engine over 100%? I've always found that really interesting. Let's design engines to run at like 90%. So we have a little bit extra if we need it. But as you said, it's always great seeing another RS-25 on the test stand. It's been a while, and we are excited to see there. If you're just joining us, though, welcome. We are now 3 minutes, 10 seconds, and counting until a hot fire test of an RS-25 engine. If you guys have questions, you can keep sending those in the chat by tagging us at the launch pad. Or if you'd like to help support what we do, you can send them in as a super chat as well. That all goes into helping bring you guys the best possible coverage of everything space around the world. Ian is asking, do you know how much money this type of test costs NASA? That is a very interesting question. I do not believe we have an exact number for that. We can try to research that. The biggest cost would most likely be the propellant and then the actual cost of all the labor to have the test stand prepared, the engine put in, and everything kind of with that. T-minus 2 minutes until hot fire test. Those would be the biggest costs associated with this type of test. Coming down now to the final preparations are underway. T-minus 1 minute until the RS-25 hot fire test. NASA is going to go for a long duration test here today. Their goal is to run the test for 600 seconds or approximately 10 minutes, longer than the full duration firing of an RS-25 during an SLS launch. T-minus 40 seconds. Question coming in the chat, what's the reason for today's test? We always test these new engines. This is a new version of the engine that we'll use in future launches of the Space Launch System. We're going to turn up the audio here, T-minus 20 seconds and counting. Let's listen and look into the NASA Stennis Space Center as they've prepared a hot fire test an RS-25E engine running for 600 seconds, T-minus 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awaiting ignition. As you can see there, an update on the screen. This is a test. They are running a test campaign of this engine. So the clocks can be a little bit off. They could have entered a hold. They do have a 2-hour test window today, running from 3 to 5 p.m. local time. We'll wait to see another update. This is why we test. Teams are running through systems exactly like they would during an actual countdown, running all the checks that they would just on one engine rather than the 4 that they would on a Space Launch System rocket going for flight. We are in a hold awaiting an update on the countdown for today's RS-25 hot fire test. While we wait, we're going to answer some more of your questions, so you can send those in the chat by tagging us at the launch pad. If you haven't yet, though, take a moment, engage that subscribe button so you never miss another live coverage right here on the launch pad. We bring you live coverage of hot fire tests, launches, dockings, undockings, and return to Earth, as well as special events. And pinned in the chat, that is the link to our new news channel where we bring you space news updates and exclusive interviews. If you can, take a moment and click that button and subscribe to our new channel. That'd be a huge help as we continue our mission of informing, inspiring explorers of tomorrow, because we believe that space is better together. We're waiting an update from NASA on the status of today's hot fire test. Today's test is expected to run for 10 minutes or 600 seconds. Dr. M, RS-25 flown before, or are these new? These are new RS-25s. These are the RS-25E that will begin being used starting with Artemis 4 and beyond. The first 3 Artemis missions will use the leftover engines from the Space Shuttle mission, and then they will switch over to using these new RS-25. So that is why they're in testing campaigns now, because they are newly produced. There is a live view. Oh, and we have ignition of the RS-25. Starting the clock. T plus 60 seconds. Two minutes in today's test, 20% through the test file. T plus 5 minutes. We are 50% way through today's hot fire test of the RS-25E engine. Today's test is expected to last 10 minutes or 600 seconds. Burn looking to continue nominally. T plus 8 minutes. The RS-25 has now fired for longer than required for a Space Launch System launch. Today's test aiming to run for a total of 10 minutes. Just about 2 minutes left in today's hot fire test. Seconds remaining in the test. T plus 9 minutes. The RS-25 is now fired for 1 extra minute. 1 minute remaining in the test. .40 seconds remaining in the hot fire test. And shutdown. Based on our clock and syncing it there, that was a full 10-minute duration hot fire of the RS-25 test at the NASA Stennis Space Center, a 10-minute, 600-second test of the RS-25E engine, 2 minutes longer than required for a space launch system launch. We'll wait to see if we get an update from NASA. If you haven't yet, though, take a moment, engage that subscribe button so you never miss live launch or test coverage right here on the Launchpad. Also, take a moment and head on over to our brand new The Launchpad News channel, where you can get space news updates and exclusive interviews. See what they're zooming in on here, but there you can see that RS-25E engine having just completed a 600-second test burn.
This concludes the live broadcast of today's.
And there we go. They are wrapping up today's coverage. If it was your first time here, take a moment, engage that subscribe button so you never miss another live launch coverage, and join us over on the TLP Discord. But for now, this is Zach from TLP HQ, signing off. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.